Okay, you've just mastered mean, median, and mode. So we're going to move into extremes and quartiles today, which you have to be able to do median to find your extremes and your quartiles. This is not difficult. It can be a little bit time consuming, but it is not difficult. Okay, so the first thing when we're looking for, well, let's do extremes first because that's the easiest. The extreme, you have a lower extreme and an upper extreme. Lower meaning your smaller number. So your very smallest number is your lower extreme, and your biggest number is your upper extreme. So that's pretty easy. And remember, those two, your smallest and your largest, that's what we use to find the range also, which the range is the largest minus the smallest. So the range in this data would be 30. Okay. Now, just to save time, I went ahead and put these in order least to greatest, but you know, every time you find median, you always have to put them in order from least to greatest. So if I do top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, this is my median. And that's what you worked on earlier, is the median. So that should be pretty simple. Now, I am going to cover up at my median and find my median again. So I'm going to look at my smaller numbers, which in this case there's only 3. So if I do top, bottom again, this is like the median of the smaller numbers. And that's actually called a quartile, and we call that the lower quartile because it's the smaller numbers. And to abbreviate, I usually put LQ for lower quartile, okay? Now, we're going to cover up at the median again, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find top, bottom, and we're going to find the median of the bigger numbers, and that is called the upper quartile, which is UQ. Upper quartile. I'm running out of paper there. Upper quartile, okay? And again, this is the lower extreme because it's the smallest number. And this is the upper extreme because it is the biggest number. Okay? So now we've broken it down into quartiles, like quarter means 4. So we've got 4 different sections. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the 4 sections falls in between each one of those. Sometimes this is called quartile 1, and sometimes this is called quartile 3. But I used upper and lower. That's what you're going to see most of the time. But don't be shocked if you see quartile 1 and quartile 3. So I'm going to slide this over, and we're going to do another one. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to find my median. So if I do top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, oh my gracious, I got 2. So if I got 2, remember we add and divide by 2. So when I add and divide by 2, I'm going to get 55 for my median. Because I add those 2 numbers, add those and divide by 2, and we're going to get 55. So let's just double check. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 above, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 below. So 55, that is in the middle. Now here's where a lot of people make mistakes. I don't cover up that 50. My median is not 50. My median is 55. So when I find the median of my lower numbers, looking for my lower quartile, do not cover up that 50 because that's going to mess you up if you do, because the median is at 55. So top, bottom, top, bottom. So now this is going to be our lower quartile, okay? So again, same thing goes for here. Do not cover up that 60 because 60 is not the median. The median is 55. So top, bottom, top, bottom. This is my upper quartile, okay? Not bad. We're just splitting it into 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. So quartile means 4 different sections. Remember, this is your lower extreme and this is your upper extreme. Okay? Just breaking it into 4 parts. All right, let's do one more. I'm adding more numbers each time. Now remember, whenever you do this, most likely the numbers are already are not listed least to greatest. So that's the first thing you have to make sure that they're ordered least to greatest, which I went ahead and did that just to save time. Top, bottom, top, bottom. Okay, again, I have 2. And I'm pretty sure that's 43.5, but for some reason, I just feel like I need to check it. So I would add 40 and 47, which would be 87 divided by 2. Yep, 43.5. Okay, so remember, we do not cover up that 40. You're actually at the median. And I do top, bottom, and again, I have 2. That's okay. You still just go in the middle and you add and divide by 2. And when we add and divide by 2, we're going to be at 28 for our lower quartile. Okay? Same thing. Cover up at the median. Top, bottom, top, bottom. We've got 2. So we're going to be in the middle of those. So when we add and divide by 2, we're going to be at 80 for our upper quartile. And remember, this is your lower extreme and this is your upper extreme. Okay? Now, I looked at the first one. We're going to go back and find something else because I didn't want to throw too much at you right to start with. So now that hopefully the quartiles and the extremes are pretty easy. So I want to look at how to find another piece of information. So I'm going to go back to these same problems. And I'm going to be lazy and use the calculator. Okay? So the range, if I want to be, is just the largest minus the smallest. So this will be 75 minus 16. Now, if I wanted to get fancy with my definition, which is what I should do, I would say the upper extreme minus the lower extreme. Same thing as saying the largest minus the smallest, okay? So our range is how spread out is our data. So we do 75 minus 16, and we get 59. That would be our range. Now we have what's called IQR, which IQR stands for Interquartile Range. Well, Interquartile Range kind of makes sense that we look at our quartiles. And here's our 2 quartiles. So we're going to take the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So we're going to take 62 minus 36. And that gives you your interquartile range. So the range is you're subtracting the largest and the smallest, and interquartile range just means subtract those quartiles. So we would do 62 minus 36, and we get the interquartile range would be 60. Okay, we're going to try one of the other ones. Okay, I think I talked about this one at the very beginning anyway. I mentioned the word range. So range is going to be to subtract our 2 extremes. So we're going to subtract 35 minus 5, which our range is 30. Now our interquartile range is going to be subtracting our quartiles. So we're going to take our upper quartile and subtract our lower quartile. So 30 minus 7, which is 23 for our interquartile range for that one. And then the last, well, I've got so many pieces of paper I'm trying to fumble through here. And the last one. Your range is going to be the 105 minus 2, which is 103. So that's a pretty broad range. Now, interquartile range is going to be your upper quartile minus your lower quartile. So we would have 80 minus 28. And if you wanted to double check what that is, 80 minus 28, which is 52. So you got quartiles and you got extremes, and then I added in range and interquartile range. So if you got questions, let me know. Otherwise, hope you do well. I hope you do well regardless. But anyway, let me know if you have questions.